Starting the generality, I would assume it's pretty exciting. Coming into this spring based on what you guys did last year, who's back, and the expectations.
Well, I think it's the same challenge every year. You want to improve, you want to get better. And coming off of an 8-win season, that next step is the hardest step. We were a good football team last year, and I think we're starting to become a good football program. But to be a great football team and to be a special football team, that's a whole nother step. And that's a tough one to take, and that's what our goal is this year.
What kind of response have you gotten from the players so far to take that next step?
We've had a very good offseason, and we're not that far removed from playing football. We were playing football just a little over 2 months ago. So we gave the players a little bit of time off, and they came back from after the bowl break. But we've had a really good offseason in the weight room. Our Falcon Fight, our offseason conditioning program, I think guys are getting after it, and I think there's a confidence they have coming off of last season that we haven't had in 2 years. So, we have momentum. We want to keep building on it.
What kinds of things will be the focus for you in this spring?
I think it's we got to continue to do a great job with turnover margin. We went from 116th in the country to 43rd in turnover margin. We went from -13 to +4. And if we want to be an elite team, that number has to keep going in that direction. The other thing that really sticks out for us is I think offensively, we have to make more big plays. When we played against the better offensive teams that scored 24, 28 points, those are not games that we were able to go punch for punch with those teams and score a lot of points and win those games. And again, to be an elite team, at some point you're going to have to put 35, 42 points on the board. And we just did not make enough big plays last year as an offense against the better teams. And so I think we want to continue turnover margin, we want to be more explosive, and then we want to keep building on the things we've gotten better at, which is defending the run and running the football.
Offensively first, while you're only replacing one guy lost to graduation, will you talk? I mean, is there still some flux that we're going to see on offense?
I think there's a lot of flux. I mean, the quarterback job is going to be open. We're going to open that competition up and let it be a three-way go. And offensive line, we only graduate one, but we've redshirted some really good players the last 2 years, and we're going to give those guys a chance to compete. And we need to find who the top 7, 8, 9 guys are, not just number 5, but we've got to develop more depth there. I certainly expect our wide receivers to be improved. Chris Gallen showed flashes last year of being a really good player. Sean Joplin showed flashes. We need guys like Ryan Burbrink and Hervé Kobe and those guys to really step up. And some of those guys got to become elite players, and other of them got to become solid players. And then I think defensively, we had an outstanding year last year, but the reason there's 24 scouts here today, we lost that player.
Right.
And I think we've got a lot of good, solid players. But Chris Jones was a 3-time All-Conference player and the MAC Defensive Player of the Year, and Dwayne Woods was a 3-time All-Conference player. So we're not just replacing 2 average guys. We're replacing 2 of the best football players we've had here over the past 4 years.
Defensively, I mean, is it a concern? Obviously, you replace is part of the concern, but also do you have to fight a little complacency of, man, we were everything last year, and kind of take it to another level?
If we have to fight that, we're not going to be very good. I mean, I think football teams and football players, they have a fire in their belly and they want to get better, and they're not satisfied with what they did. And if we have a satisfied football team, we won't get better. So we have a lot bigger problems and personnel issues if I've got to worry. We still did not accomplish any of our goals last year. We did not win the MAC East. We did not win the MAC. We did not win our bowl game. When we played some of the elite teams, and we played them tight, but we came up short. And we've got to find a way to win those games. And so there's certainly a step we still need to take as a football team and as a football program.
How much work will you do on special teams this spring?
We got to do a lot. That was an area that I thought was really inconsistent last year. We had a punt blocked in the bowl game that really hurt us. Our kickoff return unit was not as good as it's been. I thought our punt team overall was a lot more inconsistent. The one unit I thought was pretty solid all year was our punt block, punt return. And the field goal kicking situation certainly got better the second half of the year, but we can't get off to a slow start in that area again. So there's a lot of work across the board to get where we want to get to.
In terms of the special teams, are those personnel fixes, or is that more?
Well, I think Tyler Tate finished the year strong. Anthony Farinella was much improved on kickoffs, and we had seven touchbacks this year. That was improved. Certainly, Schmeidebusch is talented enough. He's going to be our punter. To me, the big issue is who's going to be our long snapper and our short snapper. Corey Johnson, very quietly last year, had a great year for us, handling those duties, and I can't tell you who's going to be that for us. So that's certainly a priority this spring.
In terms of returns, will we see more of Boo Boo next year, do you think? Or
Well, we'll see. I mean, part of it is we got to develop some depth at safety. He's a first-team All-MAC player. He's hard to take off the field. At the same time, you can't have a guy play 90, 100 plays. He's a guy that cramped up in the bowl game. And there's times last year that he got a little gassed, and you don't want to take him off the field on defense, and you don't want to take him off the field as a kickoff return guy. So, I would rather him not handle punt returns. I'd like him to be our kickoff return guy. But we've got to find ways to get him off the field a little bit on defense so we can utilize him more on special teams.